replay. I'm going to try to show the comments on the screen just in case I don't get a chance to read them as I go along, okay? So this was episode 4, Next Gen NYC. Um, we started again with the aftermath. And I'm sorry, I was out by the pool and it was kind of warm out there, so I have a sheen on me. I got a lot of sun, so I feel really good. Um, Hello, network specialist. Thank you so much for coming in. Hello, Mama Bees. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you both. This is Next Gen NYC. I'm just trying to do a quick live on it before I end up losing my internet connection. Because as you can see, I'm at sea. Let me try to show you. We set sail again today. We were on the private island Half Moon Cay today, and it was gorgeous. This episode, y'all, last week, episode 3, I actually gave it a 9. It would have gotten a 10, but there's always room for improvement, so it got a 9. This week it was just, it was like a 4 or 5. It wasn't even good. I fell asleep on it a time or two. Hello, CC, welcome in. Thank you so much. We have another one of my moderators in the building. CC came in speaking to everyone. So this next episode, Next Gen NYC, this is the aftermath of Charlie's microaggressions. We're going to always go back to that because I'm not going to let him live it down. I didn't like it. The internet aunties didn't like it, and he's not going to live it down. We don't care. And then again, they don't show Riley until almost third way through the episode. We are seeing too much of Meredith and Seth's parents. I don't like Meredith Marks. I don't watch Salt Lake City, and I don't like the lady when I see her. Seth is strange. I don't like his relationship with his son. Brooks is the glue, but he's not equipped to hold the group together. I don't like Brooks. Sorry to start out negatively, but this is what I have. So I think they're weirdos. They have too many jokes for my taste of sexual nature between parents and kids. I don't care that Brooks is 25. It's inappropriate. Seth is speaking again about Charlie in that manner. I don't like it. And aren't they supposed to be Mormons? Hello, Linda Gamble. Welcome in. Linda is another one of my moderators. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care for that, y'all. I didn't like it. So we flash back to Seth is saying he wants to be a mother because that's the next level for a father. I don't have any children, but I don't think that's how it works. Your mother's relationship with the son is her relationship with her son. Father is completely different. Seth somehow thinks that Charlie is authentic, and that can get you in trouble. Authenticity is not Charlie's problem, in my opinion. Charlie is a fraud. He's a phony. He's a problem. I'd like to see him exit this show. He's pushing 30. He's 30 now, but during filming, he was 29. He's way too old for this group of kids, and he's a problem. We get to see Charlie's father, Anwar. I'm going to go off screen because I think it's going to help me not lose internet connection, okay? So excuse me, everyone. Let me just stop the cam for a little bit. All right, there we are. So we see Anwar and his girlfriend, Talia. It's a young woman, of course. She's having lunch with her boyfriend, Anwar, who's Charlie's father. And then they flash back to another inappropriate conversation between Charlie and his mom and her freak. This guy was talking about the size of the boyfriend's member. It just, they disgusted me, honestly. And then we see Anwar's in some type weird competition with his son. Charlie has youth on his side, but Charlie is a problem. He's not doing a lot. Now, we found out, I forgot to mention during the last episode, Charlie actually has a degree. I forgot what it was in, but he has 2 degrees actually. He has a bachelor's degree and he also has a master's. So the fact that he's not doing anything is kind of trifling, in my opinion. So I'd like to see him do a little more with his life. But I think with the start that his mother and father gave him, it's an issue. So production is asking Charlie to think of something that the dad said that really hurt. I'm not liking when production is this messy. That's not something to quip about it. It's not cute. Charlie just makes an offhand remark. He said he'd have a more difficult time finding the time that his father didn't hurt him. I'm no Charlie fan or defender, but I didn't like that. I don't like to see anyone hurt. And I don't think it's production's job to try to prod hurt feelings out of these people. They all need therapy instead of the TV show, honestly. Linda Gamble confirms that they are Mormons. They are Seth in particular is very enamored with these sexual conversations. And it's kind of nasty because he's talking to his son. I don't care if it's an adult son. Brooks has expressed he's uncomfortable. Bravo, I don't like this. We see Damon call Ava. She's still mad at Charlie. Damon starts asking what happened. Ava's running down what happened with Charlie in the group. Confessional Ava says that Damon's interested in her life. Now, is Damon just getting to know Ava from growing up hip hop and from this show? Because they don't, I don't know. He seems to, the questions he asks her, it's not like they're really close. It's kind of like he's getting close to her because of whatever clout she's bringing him. But that's just something I'm looking at. I'm not going to accuse Damon of that, but I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe since he and Rachel Roy had such a rocky relationship and Rachel Roy moved to the West Coast, he wasn't able to see the children until they're adults. Because Ava's about 24, I think they said. Ava tells Damon the story about Riley. Damon starts asking if Charlie is aggressive, and then he wants to know about whether or not Charlie likes women. It was just a rehash of last week. That's another reason why I wasn't that impressed with this week's episode. And I was surprised to see it fall off from what I thought of as, let's say, a not strong nine to maybe a 4 or 5 that was hard to get through. We see George Washington on screen. Y'all, this girl is only 24 years old. It's her hygiene is from the 1800s. That's why I call her George Washington, her appearance, and also the not washing hand thing. She's not going to live that down. We see her with this guy she's dating. He's a cutie. His name is Omar. She tells us how she started um, being a person who's a party planner. We get to see Ariana and Riley meet again. They discuss Charlie and the events. Y'all, I like Ariana. Ariana Bierman is Kim Zolciak's daughter, Troy Bierman's daughter. So her and Riley are reconnecting after over a decade their mothers fell out. So Riley's saying she'll not be run over, and Ariana made me laugh. She said she'll hit a man for the first time over Riley. So that's the way to go, Ariana. Treat Riley like a friend because the girls had no beef. They were too little. It was Candy and Kim. And Candy, rightfully so, kind of had to cut Kim off because Kim is a deadbeat and she takes advantage of people, even her own daughter. So we flash back to Kim versus a shaky voice Candy. You know how hurt Candy gets when somebody is doing something to her. She can defend herself, but we had shaky voice Candy in that scene. We see Sheree shifting Kim's wig. Charlie's dad, Anwar, is throwing a barbecue. Charlie's running late. So the father's upset. He said it take an hour and a half to get there, and Charlie and them already 45 minutes leaving. So Charlie's inconsiderate. It looks like Charlie Brooks and George Washington were going to that event. We find out that Hudson Ariana found an apartment. The apartment costs $10,000 a month, but this is New York. They meet their neighbor who actually tells them that her apartment was leaking into theirs that morning. So they were like, "Welcome to New York." Moved there from Atlanta, Georgia. So on the ride over, we hear this really sad story about George Washington and her parents. Her parents were attorneys. Something happened as far as around 9/11. It triggered something in the father. He started drinking. He left the family. He moved upstate. He actually died upstate. And Georgia is still bothered by that. She's in therapy. Charlie said that he's in therapy. The therapist actually is kind of like a moderator between he and his father. There's a lot of things going on with Charlie and the father. I feel kind of sorry for him. They flash back again. It's another thing about this show. They do a lot of little mini scenes where they're flashing back and forth. Ariana has 2 large dogs that are running all over the apartment. When they were moving in, she broke Hudson's sunglasses that were like $575. So Ariana tells us that she doesn't like worrying about money, but she is. She says she can't fall back on her parents because she's helping them. I'm really upset with Kim about this, y'all. We get to see Kim in a FaceTime. She's in her glasses, no red solo cup. But what I do like about Kim, let me stop teasing Kim. Kim tells Ariana she is so proud of her. She says, "You're in New York. You live in your dream. I'm just proud of you. I love that." So I I don't care if you're 24 years old. Ariana's she's young, maybe 22, 23. But you always want to hear from your parents how proud you are of them. The network specialist says that was a sad story about Georgia. It was. And I'm tough on Georgia because of how she started out. I think she puts on this effect like she's so unbothered. But I could see how hurt she was telling this story. And she said, what, this was 9/11. So this happened some time ago and she's still impacted by it. So I was kind of I felt Georgia a little bit this episode. I really have to say that. So we get Kim on the phone with Ariana. I do love that part. Kim, now I warned Hudson last week. Hello, Regina Phillips. Welcome in. This is one of the flight catchers, my friend, and she is also one of my sub extraordinaire. I love Regina Phillips. Thank you so much for coming in. But what I wanted to mention is that during that phone call, I was warning Hudson the other week. I said, I know his parents are not excited about his relationship with Ariana, even though they've been together. She's claiming like 7 or 8 or 9 years. They're only in their early 20s, y'all. So I would say dating a couple of years, even though they've been friends and known each other a long time. He's a kid of Zaxby's. She says, Hudson, a ring is next. I said, no, Hudson, a ring is not next. Date as long as you need to date because that's crazy. CC greets Regina Phillips as she comes in. So you know Kim's trying to lock something down because Hudson's he kind of helps supporting her and Corey right now. So I was kind of alarmed to hear her say that, but I wasn't surprised. So we have another event. Ava's and Damon are throwing some type golf event for teachers, principals, things like that. It's called Off School Grounds. Is the charity. And then it was kind of confusing. There were two events going on. Charlie's dad threw a barbecue. All of the crew wasn't there, it looked like. But with the All School Grounds event, all of the crew wasn't there either. So the friends kind of comment about Anwar, that he's an older Charlie. They think their relationship is cute. I didn't. I think Anwar's in a weird competition with his son. That's kind of strange. I didn't like that. So Ava and Damon's event was a golfing event. It looked like a lot of fun. Seth was there, embarrassing Brooks. Y'all, we don't need to see Seth Marks every week. I don't like him. So Damon was actually smoking on the golf course, y'all. And he rolled a little something up and then he offered it to Seth. Seth know he's on TV. And Seth was funny. Seth actually said, I work for a public company. Okay, Seth, you work for a public company. All that talking you're doing, you better watch yourself. Because I don't think that the weed is the worst of his problems. Regina Phillips, thank you so much for you coming to speak to everybody. I really appreciate that. So next we fast forward again. And I think that some of these kids, they know each other kind of lightly, but not really. So maybe that's why this episode didn't really hold me. They're trying to come up with reasons for them to get together and meet each other because there's just a lot of chatter and not really too much going on. But all the group is going to meet again. Brooks, I call Brooks the glue. Now I'm saying he's not really equipped to hold everybody together. He does a lot of back and forth talking and bringing news, carrying bones. Ava ends up insulting Ariana in her clothing line. We know that Ariana and Hudson are working on the clothing line, and Ava feels like she's fashion extraordinaire. She gets a joint confessional with Damon. She lets us know that Andre Leon Talley, the great Andre Leon Talley, godfather of fashion, he's from North Carolina. Y'all, I didn't know that for years, but he's from North Carolina. He passed away not too long ago. He used to work with Vogue, and everyone knows of him because of his fashion. But he was Ava's godfather. So we find that out. Ava insults Ariana and feels like Ariana doesn't have style enough. Thank you, Mama Bees. Please like, share, and subscribe. She says that Ariana doesn't have style enough to have a clothing line. The network specialist loves Brooks. I don't care for Brooks. I'm watching him because he brings a lot of, I don't like people that carry a bone, and he's doing that. And he seems really unsure of himself. But now that Linda's confirming that they are Mormons, Seth is a mess. Meredith is a bigger mess. I see that he has a long way to go. Even though he's 25 years old, he's kind of immature to me. So Brooks is still being used as the go-between. I think that Bravo allowed him to assemble this show. I think he is the one that kind of knows everybody. He knows Gia, he knows Ariana, he knows Riley, and he knows Charlie, George Washington. He's brought everyone together. So during this last event that they have, we didn't see Shy at all. That was another person that was just introduced, but he is there kind of just on the fringes. Also, Dylan, who I like. Dylan is Charlie's roommate. You saw little flashes of him, but no real screen time this week. Riley and Gia are meeting together, talking, which I recommend because I told the Housewife kids they need to stay together because the other group is getting jealous and probably going to try to start something with them versus the Housewife kids. So we see Gia, Ariana, Riley, they kind of comparing notes. And Ava is making fun of Ariana's fashion line to Brooks. Brooks is acting like he doesn't want to carry the bone, but Riley, also Gia, keep asking him, what were you talking about for so long? What are you talking about? So he finally lets them know that Ariana, her fashion line came up as far as Ava. Ava's making fun of it. Ava only said this behind Ariana's back. I don't like this about Ava. Ava's really tough in confessionals. She talks about people behind their back, and then she tries to pretend she didn't say it. But she said it to Amira as well. Amira Pete said Ava is a mean girl, and then Ava sits around and acts clueless. So Amira has a confessional, but she looked beautiful, y'all, but she was overdressed. I don't know where she was going in that Dynasty red getup. It was pretty, but she's doing a lot. So Amira in confessional said it's not classy to talk negatively about people that you just met. And I have to agree with Amira because you don't really know who you're talking to. Brooks, knowing everybody, of course, he's going to bring that back, and he did. Shangaba, welcome in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. I was telling everybody this episode didn't really hold me. I gave it maybe like a 4 or 5. So I'm already at the end. I'm also still at sea. So I'm trying to be in a place where I have good internet for the next few minutes. But if you're team replay, please click the like button and I appreciate you so much. So this is the last scene where we're going to get a little static between Ariana and Ava. Ariana is upset when Brooks tells her after she keeps asking, what did Ava say? What did Ava say? She doesn't think you have enough fashion to actually have a fashion line. So Ariana, Gia, and Riley go into the bathroom. They're arguing about what Ava said. Brooks is funny. Brooks is like kind of embarrassed that he actually told this. Ava's saying, you're not supposed to go back and tell what someone said. But this is Ava's fault. Don't talk about people behind their back if you don't want it to get back to the person. And then she says, I'm not going to deny I said it. Amira sitting there, and George Washington is kind of getting a kick out of all of it. She sometimes she's like a little old lady. I have to laugh at her. She said, I just want to tell you there's a situation brewing, and it is brewing. It's kicking off in the bathroom. Ariana comes out there and confronts Ava. She tells us that Ava has on gold sparkly shorts. She says she knows that Ava is a model, but she didn't know Ava had a clothing line. Ariana's funny. She twists her face just like Kim. I call her little Kim when she started doing that. She twists that face. She started cussing. She made me laugh. So confessional Ava lies. It's not that serious, but she felt like she could just make fun of somebody. It wouldn't get back to them, and she could just skate away. So that's true mean girl behavior. So confessional Ariana, she has a moment of, I don't know, she's not insecure about herself at all. She's very secure. But she said in her confessional, she said, Brooks, thank you for introducing me to this group, but these people might not be for you. I agree, Lil Kim. I don't think this group is for you. I think this is a two-faced, phony group, and just hold them at arm's length. They're not really your friends. Actually, she and Riley, when they had their conversation earlier, Riley rightfully said, I wouldn't expect that from a friend. She's speaking about Charlie. She said, I don't think he and I will ever be friends. So I'm glad to see that Riley realizes that as well. So if they can promote this show, use the show to springboard the things that they want to do, I think that's smart. I hope they all utilize it for that, like some of the housewives are able to do. Some are not, but the ones that use it as a platform, Candy Burris is one former housewife that's been able to do that really well. Um, some others, and then some of it have not used the platform at all. But if Ariana uses this to put up her fashion line, her and Hudson, I think that's great. Riley wants to be a DJ. We're going to get previews of her being a DJ. Actually, that is another preview. We see Meredith Marks again. Bravo enough, okay? I don't watch Salt Lake City. I'm not interested in Meredith Marks. I don't know why we have to see her and that weirdo set every week. I've had enough. But everybody, we also get to see Riley, Todd, and Candy. This is the infamous 14th. So I think maybe this group taking advantage of Riley a little bit. Riley, don't swipe your card with some of these brokies. So Georgia and also Charlie are cursing each other out as well. So I'm going to tune in next week. We'll see what happens. But again, this episode was just meh. After a good week, it was kind of disappointing, honestly. So everyone that came in, thank you so much for giving me 20 minutes of your time. Team Replay, thank you as well. And I had to be really quick. I'm sorry because I actually am still on vacation. Let me turn my camera back on to see if you. We're back at sea. We were at the private island today, so we spent the morning, we got up early, and we set sail first 4, and then we took off right after 4. So thanks everybody. I had picked up my hair, y'all. I didn't like how it was coming out, so I didn't let him finish it. So that's why I just ended up with Twist. This is a mess, but I'm okay. I'm fine with it. He is a problem, Sharon Gobble. I need him gone. I did an extra story on him where I'm gonna try to post that picture while I still have internet. He was involved in that case with that Italian. Um, this person has that cryptocurrency. You know, Charlie let Bravo bill him as a bro, and we don't think he's doing that, right? It's sloppy to try. And he just filed for bankruptcy. I did a story on that. But Charlie is standing out in front of the building where this person that was that held against his will for days, 18 days. They were trying to get his cryptocurrency password, which I don't think he gave it to him because once that's gone and that money's gone, don't get it back. He did lose his life, thank God. But the two people they arrested, Charlie knows of the people. Y'all, Charlie is standing there and see that. That is a mess. TNTG mom, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, I will. We have a few more stops we have to do today. We have actually Freeport, which is just not a lot to do with people. That's on the advocator today. Thank you so much, network specialist CC. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will have a thank you so much, Sharon Gabo. So everyone, what has broke Sharon Gabo correctly laid